After deleting history, we're gonna fix these open-end edges. These are the open-ended one. They don't go anywhere, they just end. So now to fix those, we're gonna use a multi-cut. So I'm gonna select my object and then click on multi-cut. Now this time we're not adding an edge loop, we are fixing the edges. So for that one, I'm gonna need to go in and left click on this one and then go to the same edge on the other side and left click on that one and hit enter. That's gonna create an edge from there to there. Same way I'm gonna do from here to here, hit enter, and then doing around this way as well, like grabbing this one and connecting it. Since we all did the same bevel on each corner, so they're gonna automatically have equal number of edges. All right, so we don't need to do on this side because we can mirror geometry. So but at least I'm gonna have this side all done. So from there to this one, enter, and then I'm gonna grab last one from here to this one. The main idea is we wanted to have quads as much as possible. Quads mean a polygon with the 4 sides. This is a polygon with the 4 sides. Underneath also we have some of those vertices. Let's fix those as well so that when we mirror, they also go on the other side as well. So I'm gonna go select this one and going up to the left side, enter, and same way from here to here, and then 2 vertices going from right from that point to this one. It automatically snaps whenever you go close by. So right from here to here. Here we go. So now everything is quad. So now we want this side on let's say screen right side to be copied over to the left side. Okay, so I'm gonna go into object mode. Let's check first how this look like, and the way you can check it, so you can select your object and hit 3, and when you hit 3, and you're gonna see like look at this corner. This corner looks a lot more like all the loops are kind of flowing through nicely, but same thing, look in here, you get these kind of weird shapes. Now that's when you know that these need to be fixed, because we didn't fix those, that's why they are there. Now once we mirror this side over, it's going to be all right. Okay, I'm gonna hit 1 again to get back to this view. Going back between 1 and 3 is kind of a good way to find where things need to be worked on, especially on the corners or where we use bevel. Then I'm gonna grab this, go under mesh, and then there's a mirror option box. And in here, I'm gonna reset the settings. Since I'm already facing in Z positive, so all these gonna work by itself. Like it need to be set to X and negative and hit apply. Now just by after hitting apply, you can see that entire area get copied over onto the other side. It's all the same. Now we also get the center line as well. All right, now if I hit 3, it's gonna look a lot more better. Go to object mode and select the model and hit 3. Now look at the corners here. All the corners looks good. Even at the lower side corner looks good over here. And it looks like we forgot to do on this side some lines. So I'm gonna fix that right now, and that's why it's a good idea to do this before the mirroring, because then it get copied automatically. But I'm gonna fix that quickly right now. So going from here to this, enter, and one more going from this to this line over here, that vertex, enter. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to object mode. Now things are fixed here. Now we wanted to add bevels to the corner, so the quality of the image is gonna come up with that. If you remember, our card also has this little of the lip coming out. So that's the part we wanted to do next before we go into beveling it. Now we don't have lip on the inner side, just on the outer side. So I'm gonna go into multi-cut and add tiny bit right up to this section, like how far you want it to be. Maybe just this much is good enough. All right, now hit W, go back into faces, grab one piece, hold shift, double click on it, and that's going to grab entire ring around it. And now extrude, and let's pull this out from the blue one. It's going to be always the blue one, and based on how much lip are you looking at. So I think that much should be good enough based on the reference. I have a reference open on my other screen here. So that's always a good idea to loop at the reference constantly. All right, so that's good. That's all the lip I want. And now I have this extra edge that is not needed anymore. Like if I selected this one, you don't want it to leave the extra edges. It just makes your model more heavy. So I'm gonna double click on this. It's not needed. How do you delete an edge loop? That comes up next now. Now to delete an edge loop, first select it. Now if you hit straight away just delete from a keyboard, see what happens. It deletes it, but same time it leaves the vertex behind. See these empty vertices, they're there. So the correct way to delete an edge is going to be hold Control and then hit delete. Control delete is the way to remove any edge loop. Okay, so here we go. Now we are ready to add our bevels to the corners. Now let's look at how we're gonna do those. So going into edges, I'm gonna grab these two together like this one. Let's grab a bunch of those. I'm holding shift while doing it. So this might not actually, it's selecting up to here. So let's select this also, and to keep holding shift. And all right, all the inner pieces are selected, outer ones are selected, and that's pretty much we need to bevel in this one over here. Now click on the bevel tool. Now how much you want it to go closer. You don't want it to look like super smooth, but just so that when you hit 3, these edges holds. So like here, hit 3 to see if they're holding. At the corners, yeah, look like the corners are holding, but again same time this one doesn't underneath because we didn't bevel that one. We'll do that in a second. So segments 2, object mode. Now earlier in the lessons I changed this wire thickness. Now at this point this thickness seems to be a little too much, so I'm going to change that back to the low by going under window, setting preference, under preferences, under display, and line width. Instead of 4 I'm going to set it back to 2, but by default it's usually 1. It's your choice. It's more of how wide you want this lines or edges to show. Now it depends on how dense your model is. Okay, now these edges are beveled. When I hit 3, it looks good pretty much on the top here, but this area is not, because you can see it has a little bit of this hump coming in here. So the way I can fix that is go into edge again, hit 1 so that it goes back to the low poly mode. So it's always switching from 1 to 3. In case you hit 2, see what's it's gonna show at 2. It shows kind of this outer wireframe. It looks like something wrong with the model. It's not wrong, it's just showing you both 1 and 3 at the same time. So it's always 1, just the low poly, 3 high poly, and at 2 both low and high at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to 1 and then select this edge that we left out earlier, double click on it and hit bevel, and for this one 2 segments, and I'm gonna set friction to 0.2, low number. Now if I hit 3, see that lip would kind of stand out very nicely right in here.